Have you ever reacted so strongly to something small that it surprised even you? Or found yourself repeating the same self-sabotaging patterns again and again, despite your best efforts to change? Carl Jung warned us that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In this video, we explore how your shadow, the hidden part of you that lives outside your awareness, may be quietly running your life. It hides not just in moments of breakdown, but in your preferences, your triggers, your judgments, your obsessions. And the most dangerous thing about it is that you don't even know it's there. This is not a video about abstract psychology. It's about real life and the invisible forces that shape it. The shadow doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up in your reactions, not your reflections. It influences the jobs you take, the people you're drawn to, and the fears that make you say no to what you truly want. Most people never question it, because it sounds just like their own voice. But once you learn to see it, you can't unsee it. And that is where your freedom begins. The shadow is not evil. It is not the bad part of you. It is simply the part of you that you've been unwilling or unable to see. It contains your anger, your envy, your shame, but also your brilliance, your sensuality, your spontaneity. All the things you pushed down because they felt unsafe to express. The shadow forms early. When we're children, we quickly learn what earns us love and what doesn't. And so we split. We become the good version of ourselves and bury the rest. But what is buried is not gone. It becomes unconscious. And what becomes unconscious begins to control us from the dark. The shadow is not a flaw. It is a wound. It was born from the moments when being fully yourself felt unsafe, unwelcome, or unworthy. It holds your most vulnerable memories, locked behind silence and adaptation. And to see it is not to fall apart. It is to begin remembering who you were before you learned to hide. Your shadow often reveals itself in emotional overreactions. A comment that shouldn't bother you, but suddenly you feel rage. A partner says something small, and you shut down for hours. You see someone succeed, and instead of feeling inspired, you feel quietly resentful. These moments feel irrational, even to you. That's because they don't belong to the present. They belong to something unhealed, buried deep. The shadow reacts not to what's happening, but to what it reminds you of. A forgotten wound, a silenced voice, a repressed part of who you are. You may feel ashamed of these reactions, but they are not weaknesses. They are signposts. Each one points to a place inside you that has not yet been seen with compassion. The question is not, why am I like this? But, what part of me is still in pain? And when you ask that, you begin to relate to your shadow, not as a curse, but as a guide. Have you ever felt a surge of anger that felt bigger than the moment? Maybe it happened when someone didn't respond to your message, or when a coworker got credit you felt you deserved. Did you feel like a child again, dismissed, overlooked, invisible? This is how the shadow works. It brings the past into the present and asks you to notice what is still aching. The trigger is not the problem. It's the invitation. If you want to explore how the shadow affects our relationships and why we often fall for people who reflect our unconscious wounds, check out our video, Why You Keep Falling for the Wrong Person. What irritates you most in others? laziness, arrogance, neediness, loudness. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Often, we judge most harshly what we have repressed in ourselves. We project our own unacceptable traits onto others, and then fight them out there rather than meet them within. A man who represses his vulnerability may mock others for being soft. A woman who buries her ambition may resent other women who pursue their dreams freely. Where there is chronic judgment, there is usually shadow. Ask yourself, who do you secretly envy or look down on? What qualities do they express that you have not allowed yourself to feel? Do you call someone too much because they reflect your own unlived intensity? Or selfish because you were taught to silence your needs? Judgment, when explored gently, becomes a doorway to the parts of you that long to come home. Have you noticed how life seems to bring you the same lesson again and again, in a different disguise? The same kind of relationship, the same emotional roller coaster, the same point of self-sabotage, just when things are going well. These patterns are not random. They are the shadow trying to get your attention. A person who fears abandonment might unconsciously push people away. A person who was punished for speaking up might always stay silent, then resent being overlooked. A person who craves love might chase unavailable partners, recreating the pain they never got to resolve. The shadow creates loops until we learn to listen. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop you can't break? As if life keeps handing you the same kind of pain, wearing a new face? The shadow isn't punishing you, it's inviting you to pay attention. What lesson keeps repeating in your relationships, your career, your inner dialogue? The answer is often not out there, but within the part of you that is still waiting to be seen. If you're curious about how this shows up in the search for love, we explore it more deeply in our video, Why You Haven't Found Your Soulmate Yet. Shame is the shadow's voice, not the healthy guilt that arises from true mistakes, but the deep, quiet sense that something is wrong with me. You might feel broken, but not know why. You might overwork, overachieve, overgive, hoping to finally feel worthy. You might hide parts of yourself, believing no one could love them if they were revealed. This inner shame doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, don't speak, don't need, don't be seen. It is the residue of parts of you that were never welcomed, and now hide in silence. Have you ever smiled while feeling numb inside, or said, I'm fine, while quietly breaking? Have you felt like no matter what you achieve, it's never enough? That persistent ache, the quiet voice that says, you're not lovable as you are, is not the truth. It's a wound. And the healing begins the moment you stop trying to be good enough and start wondering who taught you that you weren't. Not all shadows are dark in appearance. Sometimes your shadow hides behind your goodness, behind your politeness, your helpfulness, your positive vibes-only attitude. When we are afraid of conflict, afraid to disappoint, afraid to be real, we hide our anger, our boundaries, our truth. This is known as the golden shadow, where even your power, fire, and individuality are exiled. You may appear calm on the outside, while burning inside. Spirituality can even become a mask. We meditate, journal, quote Rumi, but never actually feel our grief, rage, or fear. We call it letting go, but often it's just another form of repression. Have you ever felt exhausted from always being the nice one? Like you're constantly giving, smiling, helping, but inside, there's a silent scream. Sometimes, what looks like kindness is actually fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being unloved if we say no. Shadow doesn't only wear black, it can also wear light, if light is the only thing you believe is safe. What parts of yourself have you labeled too much or not spiritual enough? What if your anger, your assertiveness, your no are not flaws to fix, but truths to listen to? When your shadow is in charge, life feels unpredictable, and you may respond by tightening your grip. You overplan, you overthink, you try to control every outcome. But beneath the surface, there's often fear. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of who you'll be if you finally let go. Anxiety is not always about what's happening now. It's often about what hasn't been processed from before. Your nervous system remembers what your mind has tried to forget. Control is a form of safety, a way to avoid the vulnerability of uncertainty. But when control becomes chronic, it stops protecting you and starts imprisoning you. You may think you're being responsible, but often you're just trying not to feel. What if the plan isn't the problem, but the panic underneath it? What if your need to manage everything is really a longing to feel safe in a world that once felt unsafe? Can you sit, even briefly, with the discomfort of not knowing, and still trust yourself to handle whatever comes? The more space we give to the unknown, the more we begin to reclaim our freedom from the shadow. Sometimes healing begins with loosening your grip and breathing into the moment just as it is. The good news? Your shadow isn't here to punish you. It's here to free you. It holds the parts of yourself you lost to survive, but now need to reclaim to truly live. The moment you begin to notice your patterns without judgment, to feel your feelings without shame, to pause instead of react, that is the moment of awakening. Shadow work is not a technique. It is a relationship, a practice of sitting with what hurts and seeing it not as weakness, but as wisdom in disguise. There is no finish line in this process. There is only deeper honesty. You may revisit the same wound many times, and each time uncover something new. What once felt unbearable may become your greatest source of compassion for others. And the traits you once rejected, your sensitivity, your assertiveness, your depth, may become your superpowers. You don't heal the shadow by eliminating it. You heal it by becoming big enough to hold it. Can you allow yourself to be both light and dark, kind and messy, strong and afraid? True power isn't in being invulnerable, it's in becoming whole. And wholeness begins the moment you stop running from your reflection. Imagine your inner world as a house. For years, you've lived in only a few rooms, the clean, presentable ones. But there are doors you've kept locked, entire wings you've never entered. Shadow work is the courage to open those doors, to walk into the dark, not to destroy it, but to light a candle. Because in those hidden rooms are parts of you still waiting. The creative child, the wild dreamer, the honest voice, the wounded healer. The more of yourself you're willing to meet, the less life will need to mirror your pain through external drama. To know yourself fully is to free yourself truly. And that is where real power begins. Real self-love doesn't mean fixing who you are. It means remembering who you were before you were told to be someone else. It's not about escaping your pain, but learning to sit with it. Listen to it, and let it soften. This is the path of wholeness. It's not linear, it's not easy, but it's yours. And every step you take toward your shadow brings you closer to the truth of who you are. If this video resonated with you, we invite you to continue exploring. Watch our next video on how the shadow shapes our relationships, or discover Carl Jung's view on finding your true purpose. Your journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning. The deeper you go, the more clearly you will see. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your missing piece.